Okay, so for my independent reading project, I chose Brave New World, and, well, I started to read this book because one of my friends is in another ELA class, and he needed help, so I just decided to read this book so I could explain some certain situations to him. And, well, first of all, it's a dystopian novel, like 1984, except there's one twist. Instead of the state controlling everything, people are just. It's like 1984, but sex, for lack of a better word. Um, so the background, or. Well, I guess the setting of this book is like Earth, but there's one catch. Everything is united under a world state. And, well, that sounds slightly like 1984 with the world divided into super states. But, the thing about this world state is that it doesn't use harsh tactics or mass surveillance in order to keep its citizens, well, in order to keep its citizens complacent. And, instead, it takes the opposite message and, well, instead it just makes all of its citizens extremely happy, essentially. So, and one, well, thing to note here is that every person here is grown. There's no parents or whatsoever, because that's viewed as, well, uncivilized from a more barbaric time in the past. And so the main thing about this book and what sort of separates it from other dystopian novels is the pleasure, like I said before. And this is sort of embodied through, well, mainly soma. So in this book, soma is a drug, and essentially, whenever people feel sad or stressed out, they just take soma and, well, don't feel stressed out or sad. And, this sort of ties in with the motto of this world state, which is community, identity, and stability. And, to explore more about how, well, people are grown and then conditioned, there's a hatchery, which humans are hatched now. And, well, so first of all, there's different classes, and when human beings are grown, they're, um, well, separated into classes. And so it goes from A to E using the Greek alphabet. And essentially, alphas and betas, basically, they just, rule the world, while epsilons and deltas do all of the manual labor. And so, one second. So this is the nursery. And so, essentially, um, the, well, humans that are grown are born. Well, not born, they're grown. Okay. Well, the humans are conditioned to love their classes. And, let's see. Well, it's called decanted now. Let me see. This is them denouncing parenthood. Yeah, and decanted is what the word that they use now. And, let's see. Yeah, so here they're. Okay, so here it's, some betas, some beta children that are being conditioned to love their class. And here we see. Okay, let's see. Delta children were cocky. I don't want to play with Delta children. And Epsilons are worse. They're stupid. And besides, they were black, which is a horrible color. I'm so glad I'm a beta. And then, again, alpha children were gray. They work so much harder. I'm really glad that I'm a beta because I don't work so hard. And we're better than the gammas and deltas. Oh wait, the gammas. So it's from A to G. I don't know where C is, but anyways. So essentially they're going to have all of this just repeated until they love their class. And in the book we can see one of the main characters, Lenina, just continue to embody all of these messages. Okay. And I guess I can talk more about the pleasure aspect of this. So in this world, as I said before, there's a lot of sex, and the main motto is like everyone belongs to everyone else, or everyone belongs to each other. And essentially what's that saying is that everybody's body is each other's property. That's, I'm guessing, because so people people have a lot of sex here, but the problem is that they don't commit to a relationship. So all relationships here are just one night stands, essentially. And well, that's sort of the reasoning behind that motto. And later before there was a protagonist, but the later protagonist, which is okay, so Lenina, one of the main characters, decides to go out on a sort of trip or date with a certain person named Bernard Marx. Okay, and essentially Lenina is really pretty. She's sort of the embodiment of all of these values that the world state teaches. And let's see. Okay, here's some stuff about Bernard. Okay, basically Bernard, right? He's really shy. He's very short for an alpha, and that sort of gives him sort of inferiority complex. Oh, and this is another thing. Lena saying I'm glad I'm not a gamma. That's part of her conditioning. Okay, anyways. So Bernard, as a result of sort of being rejected and looked down upon, he embraces that and then basically tries he tries really hard to like not fit in. And well, in reality, he just has an ego problem because alright, when Bernard and Lenina they go to a trip to a savage reservation, which is basically how we live now. So they go to a savage reservation in New Mexico, which has languages such as Spanish, Pueblo, and some other Native American languages. And there's still a religion, which is really strange for these people. And, it's what the name implies, a savage reservation. And then they meet John. So John is... okay, so basically... hold on, let's see. Basically, Bernard's boss went with a girl to the savage reservation. The girl got pregnant. And, because motherhood is really nothing to be proud of here. Basically, she stays on the reservation and decides to live with the people. And her son, John, is essentially just shunned upon, until they meet John, and John is brought back. And, wait here. Let's see. Where is the warden? Alright. Well, it's somewhere. I don't want to find it now. But, okay. No, so essentially, they go back with John, the signature from the warden saying, oh yeah, you guys can take John with you. And, Bernard's boss is mad at him. So here, the director. Yeah, so the director is the person who got the one pregnant. Okay. So essentially he's saying here, this guy, Bernard, he really sucks because he grossly betrayed the trust imposed in him. Heretical views on sport and soma, scandalous unorthodoxy of his sex life, refusal to obey the teachings of Araford and behave out of office hours, even as a little infant. And essentially, he doesn't have the same values as the society. But then again, that's only because of Bernard's ego problem. Okay. And here, essentially, alright. So here, you see, alright, so Linda, which is the boy's mother, and the girl that the director got pregnant, comes back and say, oh, you made me have a baby, and here's our child. And then the director just, well, he leaves. He can't stand this humiliation. And Bernard as well, he gets a lot of attention from this. Like, oh wow, this John the Savage guy is very popular now. Look what he did to the director. And so Bernard, he gets all the girls now. And Bernard has a friend named Helmholtz, who is kind of the opposite of Bernard. He's very attractive. He's also an Alpha Plus. Well, maybe an Alpha. I'm not sure, but he's very high up. And the thing is, he thinks that there's like something more to human life than just sex and soma. And when Helmholtz sees that, oh hey, it's right here. And when Helmholtz sees that Bernard is, so Bernard just glories in this newfound attention, and like, wow, I'm so great. I get all the girls. I'm very happy. This is so cool. Helmholtz just is very disappointed because he thinks that there's something more to life. So it turns out that, well, I could use a very vulgar word. Well, Bernard is kind of a coward and a chicken because he has beliefs that he made up because he was rejected by the society. And then once he sees, oh wow, I get all the girls, and then the society treats him like well, he just gives up everything. But Helmholtz is not like that, and we can see that later. Okay, and later John also gets a lot of attention because, well, obviously he's the guy who, well, sort of scared the director. And essentially what happens is that John is center of attention. People keep on trying to interview him. And then Lenina, which is, well, as I said before, one of the main characters, and very pretty, she tries to, she falls in love with John and tries to seduce him, but John, also likes her because, well, and then when they meet, the problem is that John tries to get a long-term commitment from Lenina, but Lenina obviously does not conform to this, and, well, John just, well, scares her away, refuses to be seduced. And then at that moment, the phone rings, and basically, John's mom, Linda, who has basically suffered all her life on the reservation because of all the shame she had, being from the world state and then going back, is that basically she wants to just be happy again, and she overdoses on soma basically, and then dies in the hospital. Give me 1 second to find it. It's not here. Almost there. Here. Alright. And basically, as we can see, Linda is not doing so well. And, well, basically, in her last moments, she doesn't recognize John. And that really makes him mad about what Soma did and how the society is horrible. And he later goes and starts a riot in the Soma distribution. And well, Helmholtz joins in with John to interrupt the Soma distribution because he also doesn't like this society. But Bernard, even though two of his friends are facing danger, doesn't go in because, as I said earlier, he's a coward and a chicken. And that's kind of a test of his personality. And then they get in trouble with the not the world controller. Well, the resident world controller, which governs their region. And essentially, he just decides to punish them. And Bernard also gets punished because he's friends to them. Even though he didn't help them, he's still getting punished. So this is the world controller, Mustafa Mon. And essentially, John is going... Let's see. Well, John is going out of this world state. And basically, it focuses on John from here on. So John, right? He just goes and lives in nature for a while. And, reporters keep on trying to get to him. He's just so famous. He pushes them away, and then one time, a reporting crew just goes there with a bunch of people. And one woman, who is heavily implied to be Lenina, tries to, embrace John, but he thinks that she's Lenina, tries to smack her away, and then some person yells orgy porgy, and I'm not sure what happens next, but they all have an orgy, and well, John wakes up the next day and realizes what he's done, and commits suicide by hanging himself. And so, I guess it's pretty sad as a story, because, so in short, some people, they try to change the situation in this world state by trying to make humanity think about things. But, well, they failed. And essentially, I guess, there's a lot of